Well, good afternoon, everybody. What we're going to do is I'm going to give a brief statement, and then we'll take some questions from the group as a whole, and then it will be available for remotes if individual remotes are desired. Today with me are Councilman George Dotson, Councilman Eloy Morales, Councilman Ralph Franklin, Councilman Alex Padilla. I'm Mayor James T. Butts Jr., and we're here to discuss an initiative that was filed on Friday. An initiative was filed Friday to amend the Hollywood Park specific plan to include a sports entertainment district. The initiative was titled City of Champions Revitalization Project, and it could be placed on the ballot and voted upon if the required number of signatures are obtained. No tax dollars have been requested, or will they be used if the project is approved. This proposal, if approved, is another step along the way to potentially moving Inglewood from a city on the rise to a top-tier metropolis. On Friday, Inglewood was named Los Angeles' newest neighborhood of the year by Curbed LA. Our return to prominence began with Madison Square Garden's resurrection of the Forum, joined by the management expertise of Live Nation. Over 120 small businesses opened in Inglewood in 2014. Hundreds of Inglewood residents were employed in 2014, many for the first time in years. There's a housing development underway at the long-abandoned Daniel Freeman Hospital site, and proposals are being vetted by city staff for council action for a major Market Street redevelopment. As noted by the LA Times, Hollywood Park, through its sheer size, offers a rare opportunity for a large-scale development in an urban area. Covering nearly 300 acres, it's about the size of Boston's financial district and twice as big as the Vatican. The Hollywood Park plan prior to the proposal was an estimated $2 billion build-out. The stadium construction piece alone would conservatively employ thousands of workers both during construction and post-construction phases. Starting this morning, the city will be assembling a team of experts to analyze all economic and environmental impacts, including studies already conducted. There's a press packet that will be handed out and available for you of different studies that have been done in the city by the Los Angeles Business Journal, by the Planning Report, and it'll give you background on where we've come from over the last 4 years. I'm ready to take questions at this time.
Mayor, when's the vote going to be? When do you expect it on the ballot?
Well, that'll depend on when the signatures are collected, but they only have a short window to collect those, so the soonest probably could be on the ballot would be probably June.
And again, you cannot go forward unless the vote is approved.
Well, that's the path that's being taken right now.
Why is that the path?
Because it can be done more quickly that way.
The developer is putting...
Hold on one second. What was that? 15% of the signatures of registered voters, and there are about 53,000 registered voters in the city of Inglewood.
Mayor, is it true that you can build the stadium regardless if you get a commitment from an FLT? This will not be part of the plan if the vote is approved. There will be a stadium regardless of the NFL.
What this will allow the developers to do, it's a joint development between Stockbridge Financial and Stan Kroenke, and what this will allow, if they choose to build an 80,000 seat stadium. Because you avoid a lot of review processes if the voters say this is what we want.
So those review processes will be skipped?
They won't be skipped, they'll be negated.
Is that a good thing for the city?
It's a great thing for the city.
Why?
Because the residents have gone through review processes beyond review process since 2009 when the project was entitled. Environmental reviews were done with the expectation that there would be a major development on Century south of the racetrack. We have in the past had the Forum and the racetrack going at the same time, and we've had over 50,000 people between an inbound and outbound. So we know that we can flow the traffic, and so another endless round of reviews does not bode well for the city.
Mr. Mayor, you know the governor of Missouri is making a big pitch to keep the grounds, and the state of Missouri is going to spend public money on this. How concerned are you at some point the fund is going to go back to the state? Missouri is giving us public money. You've got to do that to stay in the game.
Well, first of all, We're not trying to take anybody anywhere. And secondly, this proposal doesn't ask for, nor will ever be offered, any public funds. So the reality is what's going on is that you have a developer, Stan Kroenke, who is invested in Inglewood, and regardless, we're glad to have him here.
But Mayor, it doesn't make it feel
What's that? What about Major League Soccer? We're anybody that wants to come here, we're a pretty good host, okay? Whether it's basketball, soccer, football, we're here. We're a great place. We're the epicenter of 4 freeways. We're a mile and a half from LA International Airport. We have ocean breezes, great climate. We're a good place to be, and people are recognizing that.
Mayor, but isn't it fair to say, or looking at it reasonably, why would a man like Kroenke do this unless he has every intention of moving his team here?
That's a really good question to ask him. No, actually, the property taxes alone on a $2 billion arena would be just fine with us.
Talk to him about this.
I've talked to Mr. Kroenke, but
And you don't get the idea that he's playing you against another team. This has happened in LA.
I don't get the impression anybody's playing with me at all.
Mr. Mayor, fill us in on the backstory. The big project by Stockbridge was approved 5 years ago. Have they been holding off in anticipation of getting the
That is a great question. Actually, it was entitled in 2009, and then the recession hit, and then the housing market crashed, and that was not a time to be building 3,000 residential units. And thankfully for us, Stockbridge and Hollywood Park Land Development, they doubled down and borrowed money to keep the track going, to keep the casino going, until a better time came, and the better time is here. And we're extremely appreciative to those entities for the faith that they showed in Inglewood by staying here, and now we'll all benefit from it. No.
Now, you're on the Metro board, is that correct? Is there any talk of moving the locations of stations?
Actually, I've been nominated to the Metro Board. I won't be seated until probably February. So those will be better questions at that time. I haven't made any plans for what I'm going to do until I get there and understand the lay of the land. Okay, well, that'll conclude the press conference. And if anybody wants to do individual interviews, this is the time.
Do you think the fact that the Inglewood has been in the newspapers every week on the headlines for the past several weeks is important to the city and had anything to do with the decision?
What I feel is that over the past 2 years, since we started negotiating with Madison Square Garden, that a lot of things have manifested themselves that just reinforce what Inglewood has always had. A great location, 4 freeway access, proximity to the airport, a great climate, and great people. And it's sure easier to get here than downtown.
Has there been any thought or talk about if the Rams or another team is going to come here, where they will play until this stadium is constructed?
Well, one thing that there has not been any discussion of any teams moving. The only discussions that I have had revolve around the city's economic climate and what a great place it is to develop. We've had no discussion about any teams or team movement because that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring to fruition the largest single development in the history of this city. And if Stan Kroenke wants to be a partner for that, we welcome him with open arms, team or no team.